I haven't really had a chance yet to talk about the broodmares. Right now, we had two last year. It was kind of a pilot project, and it's kind of learn as you go and tinker with things as we move along. I don't think those particular two mares were going to be our foundation horses. They were just the first two we ever bred. So Stolen Dance and Dewey Ann, by all accounts, the two colts they had are beautiful colts. Dewey Ann is back in foal to my MVP. She's due in June. Now, I suspect Dewey Ann's going to have to sit this year, Barron, after she foals out. We can't keep having May and June foals. It's not the best case scenario for Dewey Ann is to continue to have late term foals. It's not good for us. Nobody goes looking for May and June foals. Let's give her an opportunity like we were forced into with Stolen Dance. I'm glad she missed this cycle, so now we can get her in foal. That leads into our next question when it talks about breeding, right? We have a number of people, Larry, and a number of our clients with Stolen Dance are sending me options. Hey, what about Archangel? Hey, what about, Larry had said, the Bank? I'm not a big fan of the Bank, although he is an Andover Hall. We have a Muscle Hill mare, so it's not like we can go looking for a Muscle Hill sire. Larry and I talked about jurisdictions, and, to be quite frank, I find Ontario an incredibly difficult jurisdiction, right? A lot of the times it's sink or swim. We had 2-year-old, now switching gears a little bit, we had 2-year-old pacers that were pacing in 50, 51. If it wasn't for that late closer, I think, No Free Lunch, who took a mark of 51, would have ended up with 30, 40,000 on his card, which is okay, but geez, it's awful quick. And then you have other horses that have paced 51, 52 that didn't make a lot of money. Trotters, you look at Tipsy and Dixie. Here's a filly that trotted in 58 on a half, made $52,000 and was a grassroots horse. This is a difficult jurisdiction, and you can look all the way down the list at lots of horses, even horses we had. Northern Blizzard had nothing made before he won that last start, and I don't think he ended up with a lot of money on his card anyway. That goes for a lot of horses. Brilliant Corners won a grassroots, doesn't have a ton of money on his card. This is a tough jurisdiction. There's no slouches here. When I was looking at potential mates for Muscle Chrome, maybe Trixton. We did okay with Trixton. $7,500 US is the stud fee. Green Manalishi, $7,500 US. Resolve, $7,500 Canadian. That's a lot of money, although that's what it costs. But Muscle Chrome's not a great horse right now. As a racehorse, she's horrible, but she's bred okay, so I'd want to breed her. So I spoke to a number of breeders. What are our options? As I said, Larry and I talked about Stolen Dance. Archangel, I think, is okay. He's okay. What are our options? Now, I had a wonderful conversation with a big breeder in Ohio who had said, Anthony, if you get your horse in foal in Kentucky and leave the mare in Kentucky for 187 days, that foal is a Kentucky sired horse right off the bat because it goes by where you were bred. Then you take that potential horse, and if it's an Ohio bred stallion, you can foal that horse out in Ohio as long as it stays for another 100 and some days. Let's say 187 for argument's sake. I doubt it's 187. Whatever. As long as you foal it out in Ohio, now you have an Ohio bred horse because it's an Ohio sire, and also Kentucky bred. So that horse is eligible to both breeding jurisdictions and both breeders' rewards as far as the breeder is concerned. So I suppose that the same can be said for Ontario with the residency program. But when I'm looking at a horse like Muscle Chrome, and Heather, one of our clients, had talked a little bit about the breeding, who we're going to breed Muscle Chrome to, I have zero interest in like Cadabra and stuff like that. I want a bigger, stronger horse, and I want a horse that can carry some conformation. Muscle Chrome's knees have always bothered her, so that in my mind kind of rules out Trixton's. The Trixtons we had, their knees were kind of weak and bothered them. Now I look at the babies that we have. My sire that I'm interested in the most right now, who is unproven to be fair, is Long Tom. We have Of Tom, we have Slim Jimmy, and Prairie Fire. All these horses trot really nice, strong horses. Don't appear to have any conformational issues. Now we had no CD taken out of a hock of Tom, but the other two don't. They both fluoroscoped good. So I'm leaning towards with Muscle Chrome, and make no mistake, price comes into it. $3,000 stud fee for Long Tom. Breed this mare in Kentucky, house her in Kentucky. Really, the turnout rates aren't outrageous or astronomical, so it doesn't really matter on what side of the border you're in. I'm leaning towards Muscle Chrome going to be bred to Long Tom, staying in Kentucky for 187 days, coming back and being foaled out in Ohio. Capistrano. Talked to John, and about what our options were with Ohio. Now, Joe McLeod, Sugar Valley Farms is who I talked to. He stands lather up. Multiple 46, 47 pacer. By Gorgeous, so a little bit of an outcross, I suppose. We're looking at doing the same thing with Capistrano. Breed her to lather up. Stand her in, get her in foal in Kentucky at Anvil and Lace Farms, potentially. Bring her back to foal out in Ohio, potentially at Sugar Valley Farms, at Joe McLeod's farm. And then have a dual eligible pacer, Ohio and Kentucky. Now, you can do that with PA or Ontario or anywhere. It's perfectly fine. I just don't know what is out there in regards to Capistrano. I don't want to breed her to Bettor's Delight. One, it's expensive, and two, you're breeding a mare who's not big to a sire who's not big. I don't really know what you're going to get there. I would say that it's not big. It's a little easier with Capistrano for the most part between John, myself, and a couple other people. We control the entire thing. Now, Captain Crunch was interesting also. Somebody had said Captain Crunch. Bob had said the Captain Crunch is a great cross. John seemed interested in Captain Crunch, but it's PA, tough sledding. I guess it's tough sledding everywhere, right? We just talked about how tough Ontario was. So when it comes to Stolen Dance, I suppose at this very moment, Archangel could lead the way as far as horses we breed into. Although I wasn't a big fan of the bank, I do like Andover Hall, and we do need a sire that is not by Muscle Hill also. So I guess the bank is in contention. Can we look outside of Ontario for a sire? The same won't go for Muscle Chrome, because the sires I was interested in are sons of Muscle Hill. Stolen Dance is daughter of Muscle Hill. So that would take a lot more thought process. As of right now, I think both horses that Larry had put forward for Stolen Dance, both Archangel and the bank, are viable. I guess it's just a matter of having an open discussion with the group, nailing it down, and that's that. Both viable opportunities. Muscle Chrome, as the days go by, I'm leaning towards Long Tom, breeding her in Kentucky, foaling her out in Ohio, and having a dual eligible foal. Do I sell the foal? Do we keep the foal? I don't know. Doesn't really matter to me either way. I wouldn't say we'd be locked into doing either. So that's Muscle Chrome. Now Capistrano, again, talk to John. It looks like we're leaning towards lather up, breeding her, standing her in Kentucky, foaling her out in Ohio, again, dual eligible horse. And then with Dewey Ann, she's going to have her My MVP foal. I think we're going to sit Dewey Ann for this season. I don't think we're doing her any justice by continually having May, June foals. Just makes no sense. So I think when it comes to Dewey Ann, we'll wait. Foal her out May or June, give her till next February, let her mature, and then pick a suitable sire for her at that point. We'll have a better look, right? We'll have these babies, these babies will be yearlings and will be in by then. Dewey Ann's first foal by My MVP will be in the harness and jogging by then. Do we go back to My MVP? Do we look for a different sire? That's a great conversation also that Larry and I had. Do you go to 3 different sires? Because you're almost into 3 breedings before you get there. You have a real good look at the horse. But you can put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, and say, I'm going in My MVP, My MVP, My MVP, sink or swim. We're going to be happy with the breed or unhappy with the breed. But thinking that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence makes little sense to me. I think the same reason we picked My MVP, he was born a beautiful, straight colt. By all accounts, now I haven't laid my hands on the baby or seen it myself, but by all accounts, this is a very correct, good-looking colt. That's what we're looking for. Why would we stray? So as of right now, I think I'm happy with My MVP and Dewey Ann, but we will have Dewey Ann's yearling colt broke, jogging, and have trained miles before we have to breed Dewey Ann again. So that's a feather in our cap also. At that point, hopefully we'll have a weanling by My MVP out of Dewey Ann, colt or filly, and we'll also have a yearling by My MVP out of Dewey Ann. Wait, not breed her in the 2020 season or 2021 season. Wait for 2022, as I don't want to keep having June foals from Dewey Ann. So we're now switching gears over the next few weeks. I do want to lock this down. I know that, as I said, Heather, Larry, a number of other clients have put some thought into this and sent me some very, as I said, very thought-provoking proposals as far as where the horses need to go. I don't think I disagree with any of them, but when it comes to Muscle Chrome, I don't see a whole lot here in Ontario for her that I'm interested in. Now, if you are a client, a partner of mine, I am the vast majority owner of Muscle Chrome, but regardless if I was or I wasn't, I will be the one making the decision on where we go to, but I do want to have the input from everybody. So if you are a client, a partner of mine with Muscle Chrome, and you don't want to breed in Ontario, I'll be happy to buy your share out of Muscle Chrome if that is, in fact, the way I go. But I do want to put it in print. Let people think about it, have a couple of nights sleep on it, look at what our options are out there, and lock these horses in over the next 2 weeks. So that's where we're at with the Broodmares. We're going to have four this year. We're going to have Dewey Ann, Stolen Dance, Capistrano, and Muscle Chrome. Those are going to be our 4 Broodmares. And as I said to somebody the other day, none of them outside of Capistrano, none of the other 3 were great on the track, but they all got pretty strong bloodlines. And really it just boils down to this. If I saw a good-looking, correct filly or colt out of these mares, I would be interested by their breeding. So if nothing else, it gives us an opportunity to raise horses that we would potentially be buying anyway. So that's where we're at with the Broodmares. I know there's going to be a lot of questions from what I just said, maybe some clarifications needed, but the dialogue is long overdue. So here it is with the breeding, as I said, probably looking at Capistrano and Muscle Chrome going to Kentucky, being bred to an Ohio bred, being dual eligible when they leave Kentucky, and then whether we raise them or keep them or sell them will be up to us. I'm probably leaning towards keeping them. I mean, what's the point of breeding Muscle Chrome to sell the foal? I mean, I would think the horse is worth more to us than her until she proves herself as a broodmare, much like the path we're on with Dewey Ann. So that is that for the breeding. Let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts on the process, we do not have anybody locked in right now for 2021. We are leaning towards, I am leaning towards Long Tom with Muscle Chrome, but that's certainly not set in stone. Lather Up to Capistrano is looking like that's the way we're going. Stolen Dance, I would think. Larry's made a lot of good arguments, and both Archangel and I guess the bank is in the mix because she is a Muscle Hill mare, and a lot of these new sires are Muscle Hill sires. And then fourth is Dewey Ann. She's going to miss the 2021 breeding season, I think, for good reason. Very happy with the one we've seen ahead so far, hoping the next one looks just as good, and we'll continue on. So 4 broodmares under the stable.ca banner. Maybe we'll try and streamline some of that operation, the operations of the breeding, streamline that this year and get a better look at it. But so far so good. I think we're all learning as we go, and that's important. So again, it's New Year's, everybody. Happy New Year. I will talk to all of you very, very soon.